This can either go really well or just awful. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm attempting to design a sneaker using just my phone and my finger. This probably isn't going to work out. I'm a really big fan of design and sketching, specifically sneaker design and sneaker sketching, and because of that I've been trying to sprinkle videos throughout my channel that include that, both designing a sneaker and just sketching something from the ground up. And if you've been a long time viewer, or actually even short term because I talk about it all the time, I just designed a sneaker with We Are Underdogs, which just released. It's actually right back there if you guys want to grab a pair for yourself. It's linked at the top of the description. And not only that, I also designed a sneaker for Planners Peanuts last year, which was a promo sneaker, and it's got Mr. Peanut's face on it, so that's gotta count for something. But usually when I do design work for the channel or just design work in general, I use professional tools like a 22-inch Wacom tablet or my iPad Pro. But I realized that a lot of people who watch my channel and want to get into sneaker design don't have access to these tools. They don't have an iPad Pro, they don't have a Wacom tablet, but they do have a phone. And while I think drawing on a phone screen is going to be a terrible experience, I wanted to try it for myself and see how difficult it actually was. One thing I will say though, if you're an aspiring designer, is that I do not think sketching on your phone is going to be the best way to learn. I think using pencils and paper is really the best way to do it because you get a much more tactile experience and it's the most accessible way to do it. In fact, a lot of times I actually prefer to use pens and pencils on paper versus digital sketching because I feel like it allows you to really explore the idea a little bit more freely than you would be able to on a tablet. But like I said, today I'm going to be designing a sneaker using just my phone and my finger. I have no idea how this is going to go. It could be a complete disaster. Usually, at least with the iPad Pro, you have an Apple Pencil, which really helps you get much more precise, and it allows you to change the line weights and things like that. But today we don't even have this. We don't have a stylus, we don't have anything. It's just my stupid finger. So, here we go. So the app that we're going to be using today is the Autodesk Sketchbook app. I believe it's free. I downloaded it years ago, so I'm not 100% sure, but if you do have to pay for it, it shouldn't be too expensive. I have an iPhone 11 Pro Max, and even still, the screen is tiny, so I'm not expecting a great piece of art to come out of this. So let's boot up this app. Let's see how this works, and it looks like, unfortunately, there's no horizontal mode. It's all just vertical, so great start. So what I'm gonna do is create a layer, and I guess I'm just gonna try and find a tool to use that I like. So it looks like we've got a couple different options. We've got basic, legacy, and texture essentials, Copic, synthetic paint, traditional. Let's try a pencil to start. It looks like we can also change the size of the pencil. So let's just go with, let's go with 6. And I guess let's just get into it. I wonder if I can resize this by pinching and zooming. Oh, crap. Already off to a bad start. Is there a undo button? So apparently there is an undo button, and it's down on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, but it's really difficult to find, so that's gonna be fun. So it's nice to see that you can resize the page by using your fingers to pinch and zoom. That's a good feature. I'm gonna start with the baseline of the shoe. Like that, okay, not too bad. The toe, right there, kind of always angles up in the front. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it does. And the heel, right there, also angles up a little bit as well. Let's add the heel portion and the midfoot to the toe of the sneaker. There we go. I feel like this is gonna have to be a very gestural drawing because it doesn't feel very precise. I mean, even right now. As I'm going, I'm noticing that this undo button sucks. I'm noticing that any single part of my finger that touches the screen acts as the pencil tip. So even though I feel like I'm sketching with the tip of my finger, if like even the side of my finger touches the page, it'll sketch there instead. So again, I feel like it's gonna have to be more gestural than I would like. Damn, this is surprisingly difficult. I guess not surprising, I thought this was gonna be hard, but this is. Here we go. This is a fat midsole. Maybe let's give it an air unit right back there. It's a Nike air unit. I guess we're going with a Nike sneaker. There we go. We'll give it a Nike swoosh then, since it's a Nike sneaker. Oh, it's a terrible swoosh. I don't like this pencil at all, I'm gonna be honest. So why don't I try a different tool? Is there an eraser? We do have an eraser, that's good. Let's extend the nose of the sneaker, the toe of the sneaker. Yeah, okay, there we go. We can call it gestural and leave it at that. I don't like this pencil very much. It's a little bit too finicky. It's kind of hard to get precise with it. I realize if I just zoom in, that might help a little bit, but why don't we switch to a different layer and a different tool? So let's see if we can try a different tool. Let's see, we've got a vintage marker. We've got a flow airbrush, technical pen, fountain pen. Let's try the fountain pen. Let's get weird with it. Okay, so let's start with the baseline. That's actually really nice. I like the way that this pen sort of flows. Now it's kind of a lower opacity, so you can see darker areas where you overlap, which I guess isn't the worst thing in the world. I just don't really like pens that do that very much, at least not in Photoshop. There we go.
Flows a lot better than the other pen, for sure. Let's make this an Ultra Boost, because we made the last one a Nike sneaker, so might as well make this one an Adidas one. I really made the midsole a little bit too high, but whatever. It just flows so much better. Oh my goodness. Still not great. I'm still sketching with my finger, so that still sucks. There we go. Mifa cage, like that. Nice little toe guard right there, I guess. This undo button sucks. It sucks. I hate it. So every time I try and click the undo button, it creates a dot because the undo button doesn't pop up. I don't know why. There we go. Do you have to like double tap it to make it come up? That's really annoying. Let's just use the eraser from now on because the undo button sucks. It's become an extremely gestural drawing. And because I just don't ever want to use that undo button again, we're just gonna leave it. We are just going to leave it. It's crap, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care. You know what? Screw this one. We're moving on to the next one. So let's see what other tools we have at our disposal. We've got a coarse watercolor brush, technical pen, airbrush like we saw before, charcoal blend, color builder, marker, blah, blah. What's this? Tattoo inker. Already having a rough day anyway, might as well make it rougher. So let's just go for it. Gotta be honest, kind of like the way it flows. Kind of like it. Really starting to like it a lot. This is my favorite tool so far, surprisingly. I didn't mean to make the toe that aggressive. Interesting, that looks kind of like a clog. Not sure exactly what I'm doing with this one, but we're just gonna go for it. You know what? No, we're gonna change it. Okay, let's use the tattoo inker again because I really like that tool. So I guess with this one, I just want to kind of be quick with it, at least with this pen, and then go in with some color later on. So I'm not going to be too worried if things look a little off or a little weird because I can always go in and change them. Also, if it looks really messy, that's fine too. Because again, I can always go in and change it. Man, that undo button, I hate it. I'm done with it. I hate it. It's the worst thing ever. I really don't like the shape of this shoe at all. I feel like I made it too tall. And the midsole is way too thin. So rather than go back, because that doesn't work, I'm just gonna delete the layer again, restart again. It is really tough to get the shape of the shoe right with your finger. I gotta be honest, man, I didn't think it was gonna be this hard. I thought I was gonna at least be able to get a shape that I was happy with, and I think that eventually I will be able to, but man, it's much more difficult than I thought it would be. Let's try using a different eraser setting. There we go. The one nice thing about using a phone though is that you're able to move the phone around however you want. That's one thing that kind of stinks with the Wacom tablet is that it can swivel, but not too much. And at least with the phone, like I like to draw at all different angles. At least with the phone, it's so easy to do, which is really nice. But that's really the only upside that I'm finding. I don't mind it. It's better than anything else I've done on this stupid phone, so. Yeah, it's alright. It's not there yet. I think I'm not really gonna be happy with too much that we do, and you know what's sad? I don't think it has anything to do with the phone. I think I'm just not happy with this design that I'm coming up with, but that's okay. This video is not gonna create a shoe that people end up wearing, so that's fine. I don't mind it. I feel like it's getting a little too thick and a little bit too dark, so we're losing a lot of the details. What I want to do now is actually drop the opacity of this, I think, and go in with some colors, and then the last step will be going back in with some more details. So let's add some color to this shoe and try and make it look relatively decent. Let's make this layer underneath that first layer. Can we drop the opacity? Let's see. Is there settings there? Oh, perfect. Great. Okay, so let's drop the opacity to like 50. Perfect, and let's go through with some colors. So let's choose some colors. Maybe this looks like a gray shoe, probably. Gray is a pretty standard sneaker color, so let's go with that. And then I don't know what tool to use. I would probably, if I was drawing this by hand, use a Copic marker. They do actually have some which is crazy. Let's go with, should I go with the extra broad nib or the medium broad nib? Let's just go with this one. So we're doing gray. Actually, you know what? Since the shoe already looks kind of gray, let's go with like a light blue. Kind of similar to gray, but not exactly. And at least we'll be able to tell where our lines are. So again, this sketch is going to be very loose and gestural. One, because it's very difficult to draw on this phone with your finger and not with a stylus. I don't think a stylus would be much better, but let's be honest. And then also, two, because sneaker sketches usually are pretty loose. So let's just see how this pen works, see how it looks. Okay, so now that we've got the blue in, I'm going to go in on the midsole with some, I don't know, maybe like a sail color. Maybe not sail. Maybe let's go with like a gray. I like the gray idea. Let's go with gray. Again, keeping it loose because there's no other way. Let's make the tongue. Let's make it a dark blue. A grayish blue. Try and keep everything in the same family. Now at this point, I feel like the next step is to go in with some shading. Let's try using, what do we have? Airbrush. Let's try using the airbrush. Let's go in with a darker blue on the upper. So how big is the airbrush? Oops. Another problem with using a phone. You can drop it. Opacity, perfect. How big is that? I have no idea how big this is, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. Okay, so let's try and add a layer of airbrush. Nice. Actually, that's nice. That's smooth. Nice. Okay, I actually dig this airbrush tool. It's a nice effect. Let's add some darker gray to the midsole to give it some shading there. Okay, so at this point, maybe what I'll do is work out some more details so that we sort of know what's going on with this shoe. Still not in love with the design at all, but I feel like it's getting better, at least. So let's go back to this black color. And maybe even, honestly, maybe what I'll try is using that tattoo brush again, except making it thinner. So it's 13 now, let's make it 9. See how that works. Let's zoom in and try and make this more precise. For some reason, it's not registering all my movements. I wonder if that's because I'm starting off by clicking the menu instead of clicking directly on the canvas. I don't know. Trying to give it a cool little outsole there. I feel like in order to use this undo button, you have to double tap it, which is kind of annoying. I wish it was like a single tap, but it's possible that people like draw in that corner, so maybe they wanted to make it so it wasn't something that could get easily activated, which I understand, but I use the undo button so much, it's kind of frustrating. Now we've got the midsole generally drawn in, let's go up to the upper. You know what this might actually translate to? This might actually make it so you can very easily sign your name at cash registers. This might make it very easy if you practice doing this. You might become a master at that. But other than that, this is kind of a useless skill to be able to draw on your phone with your finger. Alright, so now let's go in with, I guess, some more shading, or maybe some detailed colors, and just see what happens. So let me add another layer on top of this layer, and go in with maybe let's just use the medium nib again. And again, it's just really hard to be precise because it registers every part of your finger, or whatever part of your finger is touching the screen. So if you accidentally touch the screen with like a different finger or a different part of your drawing finger, it's gonna register that. So this is where this is really starting to annoy me because I feel like different parts of the shoe, like the proportions of the shoe are a little weird. Like I feel like the ankle area is a little bit too small or too tight, but I can't easily change it because I can't undo, I can't quickly go in with a very detailed like brush. I don't know. It's just frustrating, but I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. And at least I can, you know, sketch something. So why don't I just plow on? This is really disappointing, guys. I'm sorry. I was really hoping that this video would, you know, be a nice way of like showing you guys that yes, you can sketch on your phone with your finger. And while you can, I wouldn't recommend it. Let's just add some more shadow. I guess. I mean, I don't know what else to do at this point. Maybe I'll try the marker legacy. See if I can drop the size of that. And then add some other colors. Okay, the sock liner will be a dark blue. Let's make the mudguard of the shoe dark blue as well. That's not a bad looking sneaker, I don't mind it. Still a little weird, still a little off, but it's not terrible. I actually think I like the light blue color better. Yeah, I do. I like, shoot, now I already undid it, so I can't really go back and... How about let's do let's go weird, let's go yellow. Let's try yellow with it, see what happens. I actually don't hate that. I feel like the rest of the shoe needs more yellow. And now it's kind of more interesting. I feel like the yellow areas need to be shaded, but once they are, it might not be a terrible looking color combination. I don't love it. I don't think it's perfect. Maybe add some yellow around the, maybe I should just get rid of the blue. I don't know. Maybe it's not a blue sneaker at all. Maybe it's a yellow and black sneaker. No. Too yellow. We're just gonna stick with blue. I can't mess with this anymore. It's too much. We're gonna give it some white laces. We're gonna stick with blue and then we're gonna shade it and we're gonna be done with it. Alright, so I guess at this point what I'm going to do is go back in with another layer and add some extra shading. And then start finishing up, because I feel like we're nearing the end of trying to make this shoe look good. So let's go back to the airbrush and use that guy. Now that we've pretty much got the shading to as good as it's gonna get, what I'm gonna do is go in with a slightly thinner pen, probably the tattoo inker again, and just fill in with some hash marks to try and make this look a little bit more 3D, as 3D as possible. We'll see if this works. So here we go. I feel like at this point, this is probably close to about as good as we can get, to be honest, or at least as good as I'm capable of doing. I'm going to keep going in and trying to add a couple more things to try and make it feel a little bit more lifelike, I guess, but it's a very, I guess, artistic rendering of a shoe. It got really weird and dark in some parts. I'm not a huge fan of that. Let me actually change something really quick. Let me make this area one color. Does that help, or does that make it worse? I actually like that better. That's annoying. Now I have to shade this part too. Damn it. Let me add a white outline to the shoe to kind of make it pop off of the page, and then we'll finish with that, because I feel like we've gotten to a point where I don't really want to go any farther. This has just been such a painful experience, and I just don't feel like it's going to get much cleaner. In fact, I know it won't. I'm sure if I really worked at it, or if anyone who wanted to sketch on a phone really worked at it, they could make something much better than this. But, you know, for what? How long has it been? 30-minute sketch? It's not bad. So let's finish with this white outline and we'll be done with it. That's not the tool that I want to use for that. Come on now. Come on now. It's still not erasing. Come on. Come on. It won't undo that one stupid little line. It just won't. It straight up won't. I thought that it would, but it won't. Okay, so at this point, screw it. That is the sketch. This is it. This is the new Seth Fowler phone shoe, is what I'm gonna call it. The Seth Fowler phone shoe. No one's gonna be getting a phoner off of this one. Might have to cut that joke out. Yikes. Sign right here really quick. There you go. Sad that my signature's not even good. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up this sketch. And to be honest with you, it did turn out better than I expected. I really thought that it was going to be a lot sloppier than this. And to be fair, it is sloppy for sure. But it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I feel like if you're really in a pinch and you really want to create a digital sketch, you could do it on your phone. I wouldn't recommend it. I would definitely say use pencil and paper first. Like, no question, use that first, but if you had to, you can get away with it. It comes out alright. I wouldn't send this to anyone, really. It's not bad, and I feel like if you're really trying to practice digital sketching, this gives you the tools that you could use to learn. Like, you can learn how to use layers, you can learn how to use different line weights, different textures, things like that, different colors. But for anything other than that, I don't know if this is the best way to go. Now, I do kind of want to try this with a stylus to see if that'll make it any easier or any different. But using my finger, I don't know if I ever want to do that again. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Of course, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram at @RealSethFowler, and of course on Twitter as well. But with that, we wrap up the video for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.